What if the person they mocked didn't beg? Didn't scream? Didn't even try to win them back? Instead, he disappeared. Months later, he returned looking like someone else entirely. The shy man everyone overlooked had transformed. But his greatest transformation wasn't physical. It was the quiet revenge he'd been preparing, and one sealed envelope would destroy the woman who thought she'd gotten away with everything. Oliver Hayes had always been the kind of man people underestimated. He was 29. Quiet. Soft-spoken. Intelligent. Kind to everyone. Unfortunately, most people never noticed those qualities. They noticed his weight first. At nearly 300 pounds, Oliver had spent his entire life hearing the same comments. You have such a nice face. You'd be attractive if you lost weight. You'd look amazing if you took care of yourself. People assumed he lacked confidence because of his appearance. They weren't entirely wrong. Years of ridicule had slowly convinced him he should settle for whoever accepted him. That's how he met Vanessa Brooks. She was beautiful. Confident. Highly educated. Ambitious. She worked as a financial analyst at one of the city's biggest consulting firms. Oliver worked remotely as a software developer earning a respectable salary. He wasn't wealthy. But he was financially stable. Every month, he paid most of their expenses without complaining. Rent. Groceries. Utilities. Weekend trips. Whenever Vanessa wanted something expensive, Oliver somehow found a way. Not because she demanded it. Because he genuinely loved making her happy. Whenever his friends questioned why he paid for nearly everything, he always smiled. I don't mind. She's building her career, I believe in her. What Oliver didn't know, was that Vanessa believed in someone else. Her boss. Richard Sullivan. The company's regional director. 52 years old. Married. Extremely wealthy. Luxury cars. Private clubs. Vacation homes. Executive lifestyle. Vanessa had started innocently enough. Late meetings. Business dinners. Private conferences. Soon, professional conversations turned personal. Expensive handbags appeared. Luxury jewelry. 5-star vacations disguised as work retreats. She told herself she deserved this life. She convinced herself Oliver could never provide it. Yet, she wasn't willing to leave him. Not yet. Oliver remained useful. He paid the bills. Covered emergencies. Fixed problems. He was dependable. Richard was excitement. Oliver was security. Vanessa wanted both. Her closest coworker once asked quietly, "Does Oliver know?" Vanessa laughed. So what? If he knows. I'm already doing him a favor by dating him. If it wasn't for me, nobody would even give him a second glance. The two women burst into laughter. Unfortunately, someone heard everything. Not Oliver. The office janitor. He recognized Vanessa from photographs Oliver proudly kept on his phone whenever he visited the office building for deliveries. The older man wrestled with guilt for weeks. Finally, he contacted Oliver anonymously. The message contained only one sentence. If you truly love Vanessa, stop believing every overtime excuse. At first, Oliver ignored it. He trusted her. Until one Friday evening. Vanessa claimed she was attending an emergency client meeting. Hours later, Oliver accidentally spotted an online photo posted by a luxury restaurant. In the background, Vanessa sat smiling across from Richard. His hand rested comfortably over hers. Oliver stared at the picture for nearly an hour. His chest felt hollow. Still, he refused to jump to conclusions. Over the next month, he quietly began paying attention. Receipts. Schedules. Social media posts. Late-night phone calls. Hotel bookings. Nothing dramatic. Just tiny pieces. Each one harmless by itself. Together, they painted a devastating picture. One evening, Oliver followed her. Because he needed the truth. He watched Richard's chauffeur open the luxury car. Vanessa stepped inside laughing. The car drove directly to a hotel. Oliver never followed them inside. He didn't need to. Some answers don't require witnessing everything. He drove home. Sat alone in darkness. And cried harder than he ever had in his life. For several weeks, Oliver lived like a ghost. He barely spoke. Barely slept. Barely ate. Then one morning, he caught his reflection in the bathroom mirror. Puffy face. Exhausted eyes. slumped shoulders. He hardly recognized himself. He whispered, "I can't control what she did. But I can control what happens to me." That realization changed everything. Every pound he lost wasn't just fat. It was another piece of the old Oliver she had taken advantage of. While Vanessa enjoyed luxury with her married boss, Oliver was quietly building the man who would destroy her carefully crafted life. He quietly changed his location. He chose not to tell or confront her now. This time, he used his earned money for his own advantage, instead of pouring them on Vanessa. He hired a nutrition coach, a personal trainer, a therapist. He deleted food delivery apps, started walking, then jogging, then cycling. The first month hurt. The second month hurt even more, but slowly, his body changed. More importantly, his mind changed. The emotional eating stopped. His confidence quietly returned. As the weight disappeared, his jawline became visible. His eyes looked brighter. His posture changed. People suddenly started treating him differently. The irony made him laugh. They weren't seeing a different man. Only the one hidden beneath years of insecurity. There had always been one dream Oliver had quietly carried since he was a teenager. Learning to ride a superbike. Whenever he saw groups of riders cruising down the highway, he'd stop and watch until they disappeared into the distance. He dreamed of being one of them someday. But because of his weight, he never had the confidence, or the physical agility, to handle a heavy, high-powered motorcycle safely. So he kept telling himself, maybe one day. As the months passed and the weight came off, that one day finally arrived. Instead of rushing to buy the biggest bike he could find, Oliver enrolled in a professional motorcycle riding course. For weeks, he practiced the basics. Balancing, cornering, emergency braking, slow speed control. He dropped the training bike more than once, picked it back up, and tried again. With every lesson, his confidence grew. After earning his motorcycle license and completing advanced riding training, he finally walked into a dealership with a smile he couldn't hide. This time, he wasn't there to dream. He was there to choose the superbike he'd spent years imagining. The day he rode it home wasn't about showing off. It was proof that the man who once believed his body limited his future had finally caught up with the dreams he'd refused to let die. 9 months after discovering the affair, Oliver looked completely different. Nearly 90 pounds lighter. Strong. Confident. Disciplined. When he looked into the mirror, he smiled. All the hard work he did, at last, was worth it. One afternoon, he walked into a cafe wearing riding gear after finishing a weekend motorcycle trip. Vanessa happened to be there meeting a friend. She looked up casually. Then froze. She didn't recognize him. Until he smiled. Her coffee cup nearly slipped from her hands. "Oliver?" He nodded politely. "You look." She couldn't finish the sentence, because he truly looked like another person. The handsome features she'd never noticed beneath his former weight had emerged. Strangers glanced toward him as he walked. Vanessa suddenly remembered everything she'd ignored. His loyalty. His kindness. His patience. She also noticed something missing. The longing in his eyes. It had disappeared. She couldn't even ask or blame him for disappearing without saying a word to her. That night, Vanessa searched his social media. There he was. Traveling across scenic highways. Learning photography. Cooking healthy meals. Laughing with new friends. He looked happy. Without her. The realization unsettled her. Meanwhile, Oliver had no intention of reconnecting. His life had moved forward. But one unfinished chapter remained. Justice. During those 9 months, Oliver had quietly organized every piece of evidence. Restaurant photographs. Hotel invoices. Travel records. Screenshots. Voice messages. Gift receipts. Security camera timestamps. Even messages Vanessa accidentally synced onto their shared tablet months earlier. Then he researched Richard Sullivan's wife, Margaret Sullivan. Unlike her husband, she had earned immense respect through charitable foundations and community leadership. She was known as fair, professional, decisive. Oliver requested a private meeting. She almost declined. Until she read his brief email. "I possess evidence concerning your husband's long-term affair with one of his employees. You deserve the truth." 2 days later, they met inside a quiet attorney's office. Oliver placed a sealed envelope on the table. "I gain nothing from this. I'm not asking for money. I only believe every person deserves the truth. Margaret quietly opened the file. For nearly 40 minutes, she read every page. Watched every photograph. Reviewed every message. She never cried. She simply became quieter. When she finally looked up, she asked softly, did she know he was married? Oliver nodded. From the beginning. Margaret closed the folder. Thank you. That was all she said. Oliver stood, shook her hand, and walked away forever. Margaret didn't confront Richard emotionally. She confronted him strategically. Her attorneys immediately became involved. Corporate compliance received anonymous documentation regarding the inappropriate executive relationship. Human Resources launched an internal investigation. Company policies regarding conflicts of interest, abuse of authority, and undisclosed workplace relationships came under scrutiny. Richard's position became impossible to defend. Vanessa was questioned repeatedly. Each answer contradicted another. The evidence spoke louder than excuses. Within weeks, both careers collapsed. Richard resigned before formal termination. Vanessa was dismissed for serious policy violations tied to the investigation. She walked out carrying one small cardboard box. The same office she'd proudly entered every morning, now watched silently as security escorted her outside. But Margaret wasn't finished. She never publicly humiliated Vanessa. She never insulted her online. Instead, she relied on something much stronger. Professional reputation. Margaret served on several executive networking organizations and women's leadership associations. Whenever recruiters privately requested references regarding Vanessa, Margaret simply confirmed factual information surrounding the investigation. Nothing exaggerated. Nothing false. Only documented truth. Quietly, one opportunity after another disappeared. Interviews ended abruptly. Recruiters stopped responding. Job offers vanished without explanation. Months passed. Corporate doors remained closed. Vanessa's savings disappeared quickly. Luxury restaurants became discount grocery stores. Designer handbags were sold online. Her expensive apartment became impossible to afford. Eventually, she accepted work wherever she could. Morning shifts at a bakery. Weekend cashier work. Evening delivery services. She worked constantly just to pay rent. Ironically, the woman who once mocked Oliver for thinking too small now struggled to survive. One rainy afternoon, Vanessa served coffee inside a neighborhood cafe. The entrance bell chimed. She looked up. Oliver walked inside wearing motorcycle gear. Confident. Relaxed. He smiled politely. She felt her heart race. Oliver. He greeted her kindly. No hard feelings. She lowered her eyes. I ruined everything. He remained silent. Tears formed. I kept believing money would make me happy. I thought kindness was ordinary. I thought loyalty would always be there waiting. She laughed bitterly. I was wrong. Oliver nodded gently. She whispered, do you hate me? He looked at her for several seconds. Then answered honestly. No. I simply outgrew the version of myself that accepted being treated that way. Those words hit Vanessa like a freight train. There wasn't a trace of love left in his eyes. Only indifference. She finally understood. The man who once would have done anything for her was gone forever. Her voice trembled. Was it you? Oliver didn't pretend not to understand. You gave me every piece of evidence I needed. Vanessa's face turned pale. The photos, the messages. Richard's wife. Oliver held her gaze. I didn't ruin your life, Vanessa. You did. I simply made sure the truth reached the one person who deserved to know. Tears streamed down her face. You planned all of this. 4 months. You wanted revenge. Oliver gave a slow, emotionless nod. I wanted justice. You spent years using me as your safety net while chasing someone else's money. You laughed behind my back. You lied to my face. You treated my loyalty like it was something to exploit. He stepped a little closer. So no. I never forgave you. I simply chose not to get my hands dirty. I handed the truth to someone with every reason to finish what you started. Vanessa could barely breathe. Everything suddenly made sense. The investigation. The termination. The disappearing job offers. The collapse of a life she'd worked so hard to build. It hadn't been coincidence. It had started with Oliver. He had never screamed. Never argued. Never begged. He had simply waited. Patiently. Quietly. Until the perfect moment. Oliver picked up his coffee. He turned toward the door. This time, Vanessa called after him. "I'm sorry." Oliver paused for only a second. Without looking back, he said, "I waited months for this moment. Watching your lies finally bury you, that's all the closure I needed." The cafe door closed behind him. Vanessa collapsed into the nearest chair. For the first time since losing everything, she understood. Oliver hadn't moved on and accidentally found justice. He had built it. Piece by piece. He transformed himself while she believed he was too broken to fight back. He gathered every receipt. Every photograph. Every lie. Then placed them into the hands of the one person capable of destroying the life Vanessa had built on deception. He never needed to raise his voice. He never needed revenge fueled by rage. He chose something far worse. He made sure she had to live with the consequences every single day. Months later, Oliver was finally living the life he'd once believed was out of reach. Weekends were no longer spent sitting at home, they were spent chasing winding mountain roads and endless horizons. Along the way, he met someone unexpected. A woman who shared his passion for motorcycles, road trips, and quiet adventures. She never cared about the man he used to be. She admired the man he had become. The two were riding side by side, discovering new places with every journey. For the first time in years, Oliver didn't have to prove his worth to anyone. He had found someone who valued his loyalty, respected his dreams, and chose him without hidden motives. And as the two disappeared into the open road together, Oliver realized that the greatest reward wasn't revenge. It was finally finding the life, and the person, he truly deserved. As for Vanessa, every time another interview ended in silence, every time another corporate door closed, every time she put on a part-time uniform instead of the designer suit she once wore, she remembered exactly where it had all begun. With one man she thought was too weak to fight back. She had mistaken kindness for weakness. Patience for helplessness. Silence for surrender. She was wrong. Because the quietest revenge is often the one that leaves the deepest scars, and Oliver never forgave her. He simply made sure she'd never forget him. So, what do you think? Do you agree with what Oliver did to Vanessa? Comment your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next story.